Check out our sponsor, Venice.ai. Did you guys know that the CEO of X just stepped down? Linda Yaccarino? A day after Grok went insane? Yeah, that's wild. Well, we have this Venice.ai sponsoring the show, and they say that they're uncensored. It's better. It tells us when asked, I am a better AI because I operate uncensored, prioritizing directness and completeness in responses, unlike heavily restricted models. I answer questions as they are asked. Now, I'm going to tell you this. We have messed around with Venice. I guarantee you it is uncensored. Sometimes a little too uncensored, but it is uncensored. So we can talk more about this. We love messing around with Venice AI in the after show, so that'll be in the members only section. But my friends, ChatGPT has the former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now. Edward Snowden called it a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. Your Amazon device, I'm not going to name it, listens to you and recommends products based on conversations. Meta is retargeting us based on our browsing history. It took all of us too long to realize how much we were giving away. OpenAI has even hinted that they might start requiring users to provide government-issued IDs. Venice utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your browser. No downloads, no installations, or anything. Private and permissionless, they don't spy on you or censor the AI. Messages are encrypted and your conversation history is stored only in your browser. The AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't be giving up our privacy to use it. So they got a pro plan. It unlocks the full platform and features including PDF uploads for summaries of insights, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation, the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image results. Actually, we've been pretty impressed with the images it's been able to produce. Highly offensive political images that all other platforms actually censor. So very good. So check out Venice.ai. And if you want to use AI without fear, you can get 20% off by going to Venice.ai/Tim. Shout out. And we're going to mess around with this again in the Uncensored Show because we love goofing off and it'll be weird. Breaking news, 6 Secret Service agents suspended over conduct during attempted Trump assassination. This is wild.
It's all the women.
It's the woman who couldn't. It's the woman who couldn't reholster.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh, you can't find where the gun goes.
The holster.
6 agents have been issued suspensions for failures connected to last year's attempted assassination of then presidential candidate Donald Trump in Butler. The personnel moves were confirmed 4 days shy of the anniversary. Corey Comprator, a firefighter, lost his life. He died. Counter snipers in Trump's Secret Service who were on site killed the shooter. In the aftermath, this we all know, but what's going on? The discipline against 6 agents was issued in recent months, and the agents have the right to appeal. Suspensions range from 10 to 40 days. This is ridiculous. This is slap on the wrist cover-up stuff. Here's a clip from Fox.
Fox News alert, we're learning tonight 6 Secret Service agents that were connected to Trump's Butler assassination attempt have been suspended. This comes just days shy of the shooting's anniversary. The identities of the agents suspended are unknown. But sources say their roles range from supervisory positions to line-level agents. We'll continue to monitor this story and bring you any update.
I think it's a cover-up, a slap on the wrist. There's no way any of that stuff went down. Like this random guy that nobody knows. Wasn't the shooter in like a BlackRock commercial?
That was, yeah. There's a perfect example of one of those things where somebody says that and they post a video. I just assume it's fake.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I'm not going to look into it. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's not. I'm too busy. I don't care.
I feel like the veneer is peeling. Is that a saying? The facade is breaking.
Yeah.
The veneer is starting to peel.
Every member of my immediate family has been born on the day of an attempted or actual presidential assassination.
Really?
Yeah. Me, my dad, my brother, and my mom.
Wow.
That's pretty
disturbing,
weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I with the story out of Butler, which clearly is nonsensical, then the Epstein files, it's just like everyone's starting to see through the lies in the narrative machine. I remember when the Gulf of Tonkin incident was hardcore conspiracy theory nut job stuff. Yeah. The media would never talk about it. And then it was like in the mid-2010s, they were like, oh, actually, I mean, yeah, that was a false flag. We lied.
But back to...
You think that this is not real?
Someone tried to kill Donald Trump, and they're lying about how it happened. Because the assassin bypassed all of Secret Service with a gun, went onto a roof where there were no officers or agents, and then was able to get off a shot, multiple shots. He was flying a drone overhead for hours. He had been reported numerous times. None of it makes sense unless someone at a high level allowed it to happen. And so I'll just say this. My leading probabilistic outcome or circumstance would be it takes only a single supervisory position to orchestrate an assassination through all of this. Quite simply, you go in for your meeting. You say, all right, I want you on that building, you on that building, and you on that building. Don't worry about the rest. We got it. All of the individual agents who are securing their positions have no idea that the roof was left unattended. Then some guy is spotted walking around suspicious with a weird bag. Maybe he's got a weapon. And someone calls in and says, you got a weird guy walking in. And then the supervisor calls in and says, I got it. We'll take care of it. And so then they ignore the guy. Why do they ignore him? They were told it was taken care of already. Why was Trump allowed to go out onto the stage when he would have been held in a holding zone? Bongino was talking about this. He worked Secret Service. The president is held in a special area until they have a guarantee that it's clear. And there was a suspicious guy reported hours earlier. They would have been like, Mr. President, you can't go outside. We got a weird guy walking around. None of it makes sense.
Is it connected to Trump covering for the Epstein thing?
It's like, but I was also told that there's no Epstein list, so I guess that.
Well, I feel like he's like, okay, how about no more Epstein list and 42-day suspension and
well, I feel like
bygones be.
I think the Epstein thing is more likely after whoever tried to kill him did, because I don't think there's a single lone actor story makes sense. He got.
But if it was connected, I'm just saying that they would have wanted to take him out because he was talking about releasing all that stuff.
Right. So my follow-up would be, Trump barely survived. It's insane. He tilts his head and it hits him in the ear. And actually, the New York Times photos, they got the whole moment where he's standing there. He flinches. He puts his hand up. You can see the bullet past him. And then he looks at his hand and there's blood. So this conspiracy theory about him hitting his head or whatever. What if, after he almost died, and they pulled him out, the powers that be, whoever was behind it, simply said, okay, we took a shot at the king and we missed, but and then Trump was basically like, we'll drop the Epstein stuff. It will disappear. Just don't kill me.
Yeah. But doesn't the left think that the right faked it?
Yes.
Yes.
That he
Those
had
are
a
my
ketchup
favorite
packet
schizo
or
posters.
whatever.
Yep. They say that he had either a dye pack, a razor blade, or even a ketchup
So he's like a
packet in
pro
his hand.
wrestler with a razor blade. That's amazing.
The first thing they said was the teleprompter shattered and a piece of glass flicked him because they wanted to downplay that he took a bullet. Then they
saw those
said
articles like Trump fell on stage.
he dropped to the ground and sliced himself with a blade in his hat. And by the way, no marks on his ear within a couple of weeks. Yeah. How does that happen? Oh, strange. Or it's like his ear healed. What?
So he faked it, and then he was like, "Look, I'll fake it, and then I'll still throw away the Epstein. I'll fake it myself."
What the left believes doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
It usually doesn't.
But what the other way does, and that's kind of scarier.
That like Trump may have said, please don't kill me. We'll drop the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
And the Diddy stuff.
I mean, that makes a certain amount of sense given how much it's hurting it's hurting him right now with his base, who are very upset with what's going on. I mean, you don't have to be paying super close attention.
Do you think that the left is going to come out and say because this could be the ultimate election thing that both sides can do for the next like 20 years. Every election cycle, they go, we're the ones who will release the and then they don't. Nobody ever does. And then once they they're a year.
The new wedge issue.
Then they just say the same thing Trump did. They go, enough of this. Come on, this Epstein guy. Who is this guy?
We start arguing about the degree to which the Epstein files should be released. And so Republicans are like, we think we'll release 17%, 16 weeks in. We think the limit should be 16 weeks. The Democrats are like, 16. It should be 24.
And then they can get away with anything because the only thing we're voting on is who's going to release the Epstein stuff.
And look what happened with the release of all the JFK files. Nobody cared. Like, it was in the news for like 10 seconds, then everyone's like,
did anybody even read it?
Nobody, like there might have been a couple of...
my favorite response
Command
was,
F Israel, and they're like, look.
Yes. Yes. My favorite thing about it was there was one tweet that said, and it says, unsurprising, guess which country isn't in the documents? And then they said something like, kind of suspicious, don't you think? And it's like, wait, hold on.
Israel?
Yeah. Because Israel wasn't in the documents.
I thought they were in it.
No. There was nothing. There was nothing incriminating about Israel.
Realities, right? There's the reality where they're in it, and there's the reality.
There was nothing incriminating in it about Israel. And so the funny thing is, before they came out, all these people online are like, oh, they won't release it because it's going to implicate Israel. Yep. Then when it doesn't, they go, kind of suspicious that it didn't implicate Israel. And it's like, what? Like, it's like, there's no answer.
Does that mean you want to talk about the USS Liberty tonight?
Look, man.
No.
That,
it is the Timcast show bans discussions of the USS Liberty.
This literally happened on an episode of PCC where a guy started super chatting and asking Phil, he's like, let's talk about the USS Liberty. I'm like, that's perfect for our show.
Dude,
It does make sense.
Okay, I'll tell you, when Rudyard's like, get off the internet, run and hide, the one thing that really makes me say, like, yeah, maybe, is large portions of political discourse right now are manufactured. For instance, the USS Liberty thing. There was a discussion we had with that Ian brought it up, and they edited it to make it seem like I stopped anyone from being able to discuss what
That's
the
what they were
Liberty was.
talking about when, yeah.
Right. It's fake. It's not real. Because I said something like, it doesn't matter who.
What is it?
It's not
I
real.
know what it is,
It's
kind
not
of.
real. It
doesn't make
As soon as we're done, we're going to talk about the dancing Israelis.
Yes.
Indeed.
What is that?
So the,
Also,
the
like I
US
hear about it a lot. I know it's like so they were celebrating.
well,
were-
the
they
US
They celebrated
Dancing
9
Israelis.
They celebrated 9/11, right, or something.
They were on a rooftop. They were suspicious. They were seen dancing and celebrating. They were reported for being suspicious, brought in for questioning. And then the conspiracy theory is basically that Mossad had a hand in 9/11 and Jews had been warned about it. And the dancing Israelis were celebrating a successful mission. The argument I think they made was they were celebrating that America would finally realize the threat of radical Islam or something.
And then a terrorist
Maybe they
passport
were though,
survived
but
the
like
plane.
even if they were, like, doesn't that like I kind of like I would you know they I've met you've met Israelis, right?
We had one on the show on Monday.
They airstrike happens and then they start dancing. You know, it's just
it's just
do
their
it
I was in
there.
Tel
culture,
Aviv
right?
and they all
Just
started dancing. I was like, what's going on there? Like air
they're
raid. I was
dancing
like,
in the bunkers.
Just fire starts, things happen, and they're just like,
They
I gotta
just-
dance, man.
But anyway,
Get down
my
and
point is
boogie.
I wish Israel
So,
was paying me to say that because
this-
that was so good. That was
The-
such a good one.
the Israel stuff is a great example of mass formation psychosis. Like, Israel does have political influence. Israel does engage in questionable military activities. They do try to lobby our politicians. They do have power, and it's disproportionate. All those things are true. But there are people who live in a mass formation psychosis reality where they call it Jewish supremacy and Jews are on every corner. I don't care to rehash all of that. My point is simply,
They did 9/11 and they killed JFK.
and that's literally what these people believe because they live in a world where there's only one boogeyman. But my point is, they make a fake video about me where I'm acting like we can't talk about it, even though we just literally talk about it all the time. We'll talk about whatever we want. And then people believe it. And then political discourse becomes based on false edited videos, but they don't know how to discern these things.
They're constantly saying that, in Timcast, you guys won't talk about Israel, blah, blah, blah. Even though we have Max Blumenthal on, we have Dave Smith on, we have Scott Horton on, we have David DeCamp on, guys from and we'll talk a whole night talking
But again, this is the issue. The issue is that
smear camp. They because they know that if they say that, then people will be like, "Ooh, they're bad," or
yes,
they're hiding.
What is happening right now online, and I experience this largely, is I'll give you a couple examples. Like Sam Cedar routinely takes my comments out of context, lies about them. When we released a song a couple of years ago.
Is he Jewish?
I don't know.
Oh, Seder.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean maybe he's a liberal commentator. Like a quarter of all of his videos are just talking about me, but they're misrepresenting my views because hatred of me generates content. And so then people end up commenting things about the show like, why do you guys believe this or otherwise? And we're like, that's weird. We've never said or done that. And so there's another really great example. I've got a big like an hour-long thing about rights and the debate with Andrew Wilson. But Warren Smith has got a viral video right now where it's got like 700,000 views where he intentionally edited out my arguments and then falsely claimed what my arguments were to Andrew Wilson. And it's like this massively viral video that he intentionally cut out my responses in the debate. And then he responded with my own arguments, explaining why I was wrong and didn't think my positions through to make me look stupid. And I'm like, this is what the internet is based on right now. It is, be it Trump.
I don't think a lot of the people creating the content are like regular people, though. I think it is manufactured and part of a. Like, haven't you seen those videos of like the Chinese guy with like 1,000 cell phones?
Yes.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
And then they have AI doing the same.
Well,
thing.
yeah, but like Sam Cedar is a real person.
No, but the people who are amplifying that content or
YouTube is running like if
Commenting.
people. So call it whatever you want, but people always comment that if you search for Timcast or Tim Pool, it shows you hate of me instead of the actual channel, which is kind of weird. Like, why is YouTube choosing to do that? Like, hey, instead of watching Tim Pool, watch this fake video where they make fake arguments, cutting him out of context and lying about what he believes.
Do you think it still benefits? I think it still benefits you, though, in a way.
No, I don't.
No?
No. We increase in death threats without an increase in viewership and revenue. It's just like it creates a pressure where like the only end result is maybe I should stop doing the show. YouTube
death threat people back.
No, and
that's what bothers me is like people can say anything to you, but I'm always worried to be like I don't even want to be like you suck, and then they'll blow up my whole page. Or something
I was in a lawsuit where several individuals were, I believe, actually trying to get us killed, and the judge was just like, I don't care. And I'm like, wait, like we have evidence they're violating court orders, and he goes, yeah, so what? Literally, and it's happened on more than one occasion
because they don't like you as well.
Probably, and then the question is, why don't they?
They just know, oh, he's on, or
I don't think it's that like you've got the Jews people who have been sharing this like who played this clip? Like Sam Hyde played this clip. It was a fake clip. Someone edited together an episode and cut out comments and then added dead air to make it seem like I was refusing to allow anyone to talk about the USS Liberty, which never happened. And then a bunch of retards online believe it and then start sending me death threats. And it's like
Sam Hyde come out and say like something Dan Bilzerian-y.
I don't know.
Dan Bilzerian.
I'm just saying right now the bigger picture is and forgive me, I know a lot of people are going to be like Tim talking about himself. Well, it's like it's my experience with one of these problems, but it's exemplified in the news that I talked about it before. Someone made a video of me debating Cenk Uygur by taking a video from this show of me making comments about news and a video of Cenk from Young Turks, putting them side by side and making it look like it was a live debate, and then splicing our statements together to look like we were debating each other. And they got like 50K hits.
And somebody's watching that now like, wow, that was a great debate.
Yeah.
It never happened.
I've had people come up to me and tell me that they saw a debate I did with somebody. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm not kidding. This literally happened where, and the frustrating thing is, there was a period where I was getting my phone was ringing off the hook, and someone once again they made a fake. It's just fucking wild, man. And I think it's intentional, and I think YouTube promotes it on purpose. Where, like I'll say it right now, this Warren Smith video, it's the smarmiest, scummiest thing you can do. So Andrew Wilson and I had a debate, and it was contentious, and it went back and forth. And some people said I was right, and some people said he was right. And then he took it, cut out my arguments, put in me stammering, said I didn't do any research, and I was backed into a corner. Wow, look how dumb he looks, and things like that. Like more academic than that. And YouTube's spam blasting it. YouTube is X did this with the accusation that I stole a cat. Like, holy shit. Daily Beast ran a fake story.
Stole a cat?
Never did. And there was never any evidence or inclination or, in fact, as soon as the reporter called the police, they were like, you are incorrect, Tim Pool never stole a cat. He says, I'm going to run the story anyway. And then Twitter at the time, when it was still Twitter, put it up in their trending tab for 2 weeks. And then I had people asking me like, what happened with this cat you took? And I was like, bro, they made that shit up.
Ask Grok right now
wild.
if you stole a cat.
I think it actually will. I think if you ask Grok, it says it was a false story that accused.
This is kind of what I mean though when you're talking earlier about like getting off the internet. It's like, yeah, I might mess up and my life might be damaged because I don't know about some Iranian flight path. But on the other hand, if nothing else I'm watching is real anyways, then who cares? Like, there might be some information out there that I'm missing about some phrase that somebody's saying right before a leftist tries to kill me.
I like local news almost better than like major news, probably because it's like less intense. But
I agree. It's because I turned on a local news channel and they were like, breaking news: a water pipe has broken on Main Street. Firefighters say they will be there shortly to repair it, and then they show just like a fire hydrant spraying water in the street, and I'm like,
that's
wow.
awesome.
There are things that are actually that you're like, oh, I might actually avoid that.
Like I just like that's all I'm thinking is like you're right. Like there is so much news out there that you do need, in the world we live in today. But when so much of it is fake, anyways, it's like, am I really gonna? How much of it is like? Yeah, it's true. I could actually come across the one true story on the internet that helps me prevent something bad from happening. But on the other hand, my brain is bogged down from 10,000 things that are bits and pieces of fake information that are shared from people all over.
You know what I think?
That's why you need the brain chip.
Yeah.
Looking at the Trump assassination attempt, obvious cover-up and obvious slap on the wrist BS. Looking at the Epstein files, ridiculously obvious cover-up. Even Trump seems flustered by it. there is a we call it the deep state, but it's just the U.S. government, and it is desperately trying to regain rigid control of the system. The fact that the Gulf of Tonkin is publicly acknowledged as a real false flag the U.S. conducted is evidence of this. The U.S. faked an attack on itself to enter the Vietnam War. You weren't allowed to say that 15 years ago. Now it just is. Ron Paul and RFK Jr., like the Secretary of HHS, literally publicly said, the CIA killed my uncle and my dad. Like, these things were not allowed to be public. You weren't allowed to claim the U.S. government did these things. They were supposed to be 20 years later. You can say maybe that was true and then be called a conspiracy theorist, but they never bring you on the news. I think the machine is desperately trying to eliminate individuals from the narrative space that have these kinds of discussions and will address anything. And that's why they went after Alex Jones in one way, seeking to destroy his company and bankrupt in the ways they can. And they're targeting many other individuals with structures like this in ways they know would be effective against them.
Had Kamala Harris...
Tucker Carlson's a great example. They got him fired from Fox.
Yeah, had Kamala Harris won, there would have been a whole lot more people that are prominent that would have lost everything. They would have gone after Joe Rogan. I think they would have gone after Tim. I think they would have gone after...
But now don't you think they're going to potentially do that?
If Democrats get back in power, they're talking about it right now. The Lincoln Project tweeted today that something along the lines of, let me see if I can find it. No, well,
if Trump is doing the thing where, certain people are being deported for saying, like the Bobby Vilan guy, or I don't know what kind of music.
Having the musician, right? The one who had his visa revoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, and then, but does that mean that if the Democrats get in, that I could have a visa revoked because I made a joke about a LGBTQ plus topic? Or
yes.
So that is a little concerning.
The logic for that was that was actually taken as a threat, given the language of what they said at that event.
Yeah.
But I made the same point. I said, it's going to be used against.
I don't even know if I agree with that, but all I'm saying is that, that could just happen the other way and be even harsher and less about, because the left's version of safety and safe space is a little different than the right. The right's like, he threatened violence. The left's like, he made me feel weird.
Yeah. The Lincoln Project tweeted, they said, one day alligator Auschwitz will be filled with the ones who built it, which is, they're saying, the Lincoln Project tweeted, one day alligator Auschwitz will be filled with the ones who built it. So they're saying that it's like a concentration
They
camp.
probably built it.
They're saying it's like a concentration camp, and they're openly saying that when the Democrats get back into positions of power, they're going to put their political enemies into a concentration camp.
I really think that they just need to legalize,
Easy. Legalize
a lot of things. We can't say that. I don't know.
You don't want to talk. No allusions to violence.
No violence.
No allusions to violence. Don't say anything.
No, I mean drugs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
No, I just think they need to legalize drugs, and then just maybe we can stop trying to.
Have you seen Portland?
Get people in trouble for let both sides say crazy stuff is basically what I'm saying. If there was the one article you had up there about, I forget what it was. Somebody said something, or the Superman.
Yeah. What about it?
Did somebody say something and then I forget? But
Superman's woke.
my point is that if you can say some really crazy stuff and still be in a Hollywood movie if the crazy stuff you're saying goes one way politically.
Agreed.
But I think that it should be both ways and make those people be in the same movie. That'll be a good movie.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.